Look, Graham, look, firstly, mate, thanks for coming on board and sharing some time with us. I think one of the things the reason for this setup, and just for the people watching who will inevitably be watching, is um, as I was just saying to you, there are a lot of people out there that watch and wait and look and lurk, and then there are those other people that can take a little bit of information and implement and start getting some traction. So I'd love to ask you a couple of questions, and so people can sort of relate to you rather than hear me yabber on it all the time. It's nice to hear from someone else every now and then. So Graham,
Thanks.
give us an idea. Just introduce yourself first. Who you are, name of your business, and how long have you been in the Boardroom Group with us?
Thanks, Ryan. My name's Graham LaRue. I run a peer coaching business. So I help CEOs help each other. I think of it being like the three musketeers, all for one and one for all.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. And I joined the Influencer Project, and I have no idea how you guys got my name, but I saw your advert, joined your morning session that you run.
Yeah.
And as a consequence, got the 180-page daunting book from you guys.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'll give it a go, read it all, and found that you had a simple step-by-step process I could follow.
Yeah.
I love the idea of fixing my profile. Fixing the profile according to your plan was sensationally easy. I did that, and immediately I got myself increased on rankings on Google and on Facebook, LinkedIn, which was really quite gratifying. So I got immediate hits coming out of it. You know, do what they say and you get immediate hit. And then I saw your little step process and I did that. So that's sort of contact 20 people, try and link in with them, introduce yourself to 10 people, you know, the normal steps that you've got. And I've just got a little process going for that. So every day I try and link in with 20 new people. I try to do 10 leads every day. I try to like 5 things that I've done on LinkedIn every day.
Yeah.
I do the 5 comments every day. I share 2 things every day. I endorse 5 people. I have 2 status updates and I do 1 article a week. So I do all of those things religiously. I haven't done it today yet. There were other things on my agenda, but normally I try and do it before I do anything else in the morning. That's done a couple of things for me. It's made me realize the need to have the right people in my network.
Yep.
And I find people by searching my second and third degree connections, and I try and get them to link up with me if they are CEOs. So I do what Andrew suggested. I do the search on people, and I search for CEOs, second and third, in Sydney to connect with.
Right.
And sorry, I also say they've got to be CEOs. And doing that has been magical because I've bumped into some extraordinary people.
Yeah.
Someone like Daryl Weeks, the Gunnar Habits, those kind of people I've met, and they've helped me a lot.
Brilliant.
And what I'm doing with it is literally what you said, and that's connecting first. And that's what I'm trying to do. And it's not just getting them connected to me on LinkedIn. It's trying to make a positive connection with people.
Yeah.
I'm using a stock standard introduction for myself. And when I'm trying to get them to join me on LinkedIn, I'm just using standard words. I just say things like, I notice you're connected to a lot of people that I'm connected to. And I think it'd be good if we formalized our connection. End of story. Nothing more spectacular than that.
Brilliant.
And I personalize. I say, dear Rhino, would you join me?
Yeah. Great.
And on my seeking leads, I do something similar. I keep it quite simple, and I just ask them if they would participate in a survey that I'm doing on coaching and mentoring. And I connect that to a survey that was done in the States. So I'm going to be able to compare my survey with the survey in the States. And I'm getting extraordinary responses from that. I'm getting about 2 or 3 positive responses every single day.
Great.
Since the 1st of May, when I started, 4th of May, when I started this, I've now received, as of this morning, 28 leads. In other words, 28 people have come to me and said, yeah, I'm interested in participating in your survey. And I see that as them being leads that I've now got to nurture and see if I can get them to ultimately do business with me. And it's just been extraordinary. The very first person I connected with, the very first person I asked if I could do the survey, gets to the end of the survey and says, I want to be part of that. And I got a sale out of my very, very first call. It was just like, woohoo, this really.
Yeah, great. So you've taken people from intro, you send them like basically just a, hey, I'm doing a survey.
Yeah.
They respond saying they're interested. You then
Yeah.
have a look at all your opportunities, which is really your pipeline
Yes.
of opportunity, as you say. What's your pipeline at the moment? I think you put it in the group this morning. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah. So of the 28, I can actually do business with them as individuals, in which case my pipeline looks like it's about 70K big.
Yep.
If on the other hand, I sell them the enterprise version of what I'm doing, it could be 700K.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. So this is the thing. That's one of the things that we talk about, and it's this thing called meaningful metrics. And it sounds like you've got it, which is, connections. How many new connections have you got this week? How many new conversations have you had?
Yes.
How many new opportunities are you getting? And how many new clients have you got? And that's where it sounds like you're just literally taking a little bit of the information and you're turning clients into new revenue.
Yeah.
Which is great. Perfect.
Yeah. So like there's a fringe benefit of all of this, and I've talked to you about it before, and that is it's just energized me beyond measure.
Yeah.
So that energy has now resulted in me converting that very first person into a client. And it was done in a very gentle way. There was no conversion. There was no selling. It was like they asked to buy rather than me trying to sell.
Brilliant.
And I've ended up with that. And on top of that, I've been able to convert 3 people that have been lurking around in the background, to use your word, to join a group. So in this month, I'm getting 3 people joining one of my groups, which is worth for me $750 in the month.
Yeah.
And so in the year, that's $7,500 for me in the year. And that I attribute them coming in to me getting this energy to connect with them in a positive way to get them to join a group. It's fantastic. I love it. Yeah.
Graham, I mean, look, I think great detail, great. All you've done is as we always say, like with the things that we're giving out, these are things that have worked for us, but you always give it to people and they have to kind of make it their own. So it sounds like you've actually taken what we've been talking about, you've Grahamified it. Yeah. And as a result of Grahamifying it, you've actually started to create your own processes, which is creating more energy. The energy is creating better engagement, effortless selling. Look, well done, Graham. I guess, that's a great case study for us, for you. I think the thing is what advice would you give, I guess, to someone if they were asking about LinkedIn and they said, oh, how are you doing it? What advice would you give to someone who's kind of just sitting back on the fence, waiting, watching, lurking, looking?
Well, stop lurking and stop looking. I mean, it's terrible that people would still be lurking when it really works. So the first thing is, it's so easy to do that profile change. I think I did what you suggested in half an hour.
Yeah.
Right? And it's relatively simple. If you look at my profile, you see I've got my picture on and I've got this horrible pink and white background on it. But what it does is it demonstrates what Andrew says. Within a couple of seconds, people can see what I do. I'm a peer coach. And that's what's meant to communicate. I'm thinking of changing that again. And that's just a case of getting down and doing some writing and just having the word peer coach behind it with a flat back color background. But that's fine tuning something that's already working. Changing my URL profile on LinkedIn.
Yep.
Where you guys suggest that you put in your title, your what you do instead of your name. That was sensationally easy. You just get on and change it in a minute. It can be done. And then changing my what I do on the profile was easy to do. I just took your profile, the one where you go and say, these are the things I do. I copied and pasted it onto a Word document, put my words in it, copied and pasted it back into my profile.
Yeah, great.
I'm saying, I guess, to the lurkers and lookers, it is easy. If you just do that, it gives you the encouragement that you can immediately get yourself up the rankings on LinkedIn and on Google, because of the way in which you're asking us to do that. I love that. The second one is I keep a log of my the activity I'm doing, and that's encouraging to me as well. And that is to have something physical that I'm creating as I'm going. Do you want me to just hold it up to the screen?
Yeah.
Let's see what, I don't know how this is going to work. Let's see if I can get it there. Right. And so at the top, you see, those are all the people I've introduced to myself today. And then down the bottom is a table. Along the side, I put my activities that I'm required to be doing. The top section here is my results. So I can see I've gone from so many connections up, so on. And then these, I just log it off. It's just like a tick sheet. That you follow.
What I might get you to do is, if you want to just take a photo of it and send it to me later, I can add it in here, Graham, so people can see it a bit better. That's great. That's great.
So it reminds me, and I'll do some plugging of some of the stuff I know now, if you don't mind. There's a great guy called Atul Gawande, and he's written a book called The Checklist Manifesto. And he's the guy that they use. He wrote a book, and in it he talked about the checklist that the fellow used when he landed that airplane on the Hudson River in the States. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And so in an aircraft, you have checklists of things you have to do. So it says to you, do these things in this sequence. So you tick them off as you're going through. And then the other one kind of checklist he talks about is having a checklist that you check afterwards. So when you've done something, go and say, did I do everything I was supposed to have done? So one is check, do, and the other one is do, check. But it's a sensational read. And he talks about things like, how do you make sure you don't leave a scissors in someone after you've done an operation on their stomach? But he's got some great YouTube clips. Atul Gawande, Gawande.
What G, say that again?
Gaw. Ande, Gawande.
Gawande, cool.
And his Christian name is Atul, Atul.
Yeah, great. Have a look. Graham, look, I think you've been really generous with sharing your process, and I'm really happy that you've just trusted the process. You've come in and you've been taking some small action, but they're leading to big results. Right? I look at that. I think all you're doing is building that community really well. You're engaging with them simply, and as a result, you're generating some great opportunities because you're just active. So look, mate, that's pretty much it from me. Again, so and for anyone else who's, I guess, watching this outside, if you search the Influencer Boardroom, they can join the fun, or theinfluencerproject.com/book. And you grab the book that Graham spoke about. That's pretty much it. Graham, thank you for your time. I'll end the chat here.